Good morning and welcome to Game Day preview. Flex is in the building. It's so nice to see you after about 4 months.
I'm back, mate. I'm back. I'm getting used to it. I'm just finding my bearings. Long absence, but ready to go with my team in a good position.
Yeah, I know.
Funny how things changed since the last Game Day review preview that we would have done.
Yeah, anyway, well,
Yep.
let's
Things change.
Let's not
Things
talk
change.
about Tottenham just yet. But we will start by talking about Manchester United. It is the Manchester derby
Yes.
this weekend. Arguably, you could say United go into this in a stronger position than City, maybe. Maybe not in the table, but City coming off the back of that loss to Southampton in the Carabao last night. What are your thoughts and feelings on this game?
It's excitement, nerves, anticipation, all the kind of feelings you get before a big derby. Obviously, you got one as well. And form always goes out the window. The thing is that I am confident with where we are as a team right now. We're going in the right direction. Rashford's banging form. Our home form as well. Old Trafford is a fortress at the moment. And our record against the Big Six there, so far this season, we've won every game. Dispatched of Spurs, dispatched of Arsenal, dispatched of Liverpool. All different type of games as well. And I just feel like this can be such a massive statement if we beat them now. City, they haven't been their normal selves. Obviously, their level is so high. So as soon as we don't see them continually winning every game and when we don't see them just dispatching of teams easily, we talk about it as a drop-off. But that's the bar of City.
Yeah.
That's how good they've proven. They've set the standards. Pep set that standard. So when we see them losing against Burnley before the World Cup, coming back after that, and then what did they do? They beat Leeds, but also they drew at home to a struggling Everton side. We see them going out of the Carabao Cup, albeit it wasn't their first 11, but even when they brought the big guns on, no change.
You'd argue your City's, second string is, equally good as a lot of Premier League first.
100%. So you don't give them an easy pass. You look at the game against Chelsea. The first half they were absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Chelsea probably should have been 1 or 2 up. Second half, all right, cool, they go on and win the game. So what my point is that City aren't their usual selves.
Yeah.
Us, we're going in the right direction. We are confident. We are more difficult to beat. We're a different side to when we faced City earlier on in the season and got absolutely embarrassed.
Oh yeah.
6-3. Yeah, absolutely 4-0 at half time it was.
Yeah.
And you know what though?
That seems ages ago.
Exactly. It seems it's so funny. And we're not even halfway through the season.
No, it's
and
mad.
That seems
so
like a
long
lifetime ago. Yeah. But trust me, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was there.
I'm sure.
But what I will say is that football has a weird way of kind of giving you a little wet smack in the face. And it's like going into that game at City, although we have progressed and we are better, I remember going into that game thinking, you know what? We've beaten Arsenal. We've beaten Chelsea. I think we hadn't beaten Spurs by them. We'd beaten Leicester away, Southampton away. We were on a little good run after that Brentford catastrophe. So I thought, you know what? We can go to the Etihad and we can do X, Y, Z. And we started the game horrifically. Dalot was booked after in the first few minutes and it was calamitous. And we got absolutely smashed. So City are capable on any day of, rearing their necks up and saying, right, we're going to stamp ourselves. But I just think at home, crowd up, 12:30 kickoff, place rocking. I just can't see us getting beat. I haven't been that confident in a while of not getting beat.
I can't imagine you saying that maybe 3-4 months ago.
No,
looking at United.
with that kind of confidence. And on top of that, we're in a position where even if we do lose, it's not a capitulation. We're in a good spot in the table. We're progressing slowly, game by game. And this is just a massive few games in a row for Man United. It's a massive January for Man United. So I'm feeling confident, though. I'm feeling confident.
On City, obviously, we kind of touched on the fact that they don't really look like themselves. Do you think having Haaland, and I wouldn't want this to come across as saying it's a hindrance, because obviously having Haaland is, it's a great thing and an asset to have in your team. But the way that City have always played, has it hindered their performances because they've had to adapt so much to playing with that different type of target man?
Yeah, I think that's a fair assumption, because someone like him, who's such a good player, but needs a certain environment to be able to be that good.
And he is thriving in that.
And he absolutely is, I do think it is a bit more than just that, though, because I look at Cancelo, he's not quite at his usual level. I look at Walker, making mistakes as well, not quite at his usual level.
A little bit older now, Kyle Walker, as well.
Exactly, getting on a little bit. Obviously, they're potent up front with the likes of Mahrez, with the likes of Haaland, Foden. But I just think they've got a couple in there that maybe aren't at their blistering best. Jack Grealish is some games he's up there, some games he's a little bit down, gets taken off. Do you know what I mean? He's not quite there yet. So Julian Alvarez, first season, trying to find his feet and stuff like that. So I just feel like, that's a part of it. But sometimes teams just drop off. They're just showing that they haven't shown it much recently in recent years, but they're showing that it's a bit human.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Their levels just come down a little bit. But I don't take that for granted going into a derby, because literally what happened in the game before, them playing that badly against Southampton can actually be a bad thing.
Yeah, it could.
Well,
for you.
Yeah, for us. Pep said it. Pep said if we play like that against Man United, we've got no chance of winning the game.
Yeah. Bit of a reality check.
Exactly. So that's Pep getting into his bag. That's Pep making sure that they don't perform like that. I'll be shocked if they perform as badly as that, or if we make them look as bad as that. You know what I mean? Which would be great.
Going to be a very interesting game.
Yes.
Right. What's your prediction, please?
I hate doing predictions for these games. I don't even do it on my own channel because I just don't want to jinx things. But we won't get beat. Is my prediction.
You won't get beat. That's a very broad prediction.
We won't get beat.
So we're going for a draw?
Or a Man United win. We won't get beat.
Okay, that's a lot of fencing.
I've got to do it because I'm an emotional fan inside. I don't let it out a lot. But these big games, I don't like
nervous.
going 100%. 100%.
Guys in the chat, make sure you put your predictions and what you think is going to happen. Also, just before we moved on, Weghorst?
Wout Weghorst is in. Yes,
happy?
The option. I'm very happy.
Okay.
It's one where I think outside of the United fan base, you can go, Chelsea just got João Felix, Arsenal about to get Mudryk, Liverpool got Cody Gakpo, and Man United got...
No, but I think it's quite a smart bit of business.
100%. I think with the constraints that are put upon us in terms of money, in terms of the Ronaldo situation happening, in terms of attainable targets, and this is for the short term, the immediate short term, just to get us through, gives us a different option, gives us a plan B, and I think he'll actually play more games than people think.
Yeah. And also it gives you a kind of like a plan B. Yes. That target man, if you want to do that, and if, in the last 20 minutes of games, if it's not going potentially the right way for you, it gives you someone to throw up 100%. Front. 6'6".
At the moment, we've got Anthony Elanga coming off the bench to play up front, and he's not even a striker, and he's even trying to find his feet on the wings. He's struggling for form. He's not at the level. But to bring on a striker like Wout Weghorst, Ten Hag knows him well. We saw in the World Cup what he's capable of. I wouldn't look at that Burnley stint too much. That was a team that got relegated. Hardly created any chances.
It's difficult to create anything at Burnley
exactly.
At that point.
So for what we need and where we are right now, I don't mind it at all. Okay. Short term.
All right, let's move on to the other derby of the weekend: Tottenham v Arsenal.
I'll ask you. Are you nervous? How are you feeling?
I actually am not nervous.
Yeah? As in you're comfortable because you're going to win, or you're like, I'm just done with caring?
I'm just done with caring. I'm not nervous. This is actually probably the first time in my life I'm actually not...
Emotionally detached?
I'm just numb about it.
Really?
I'm very much like, it would be very typical for Tottenham to get a result and then go and lose to City, for example.
Which, that can happen.
That can
easily,
happen.
City
or beat City, again, because that happens. We have very good form. The form that Arsenal are in, on paper, you would look at this and say Tottenham have no chance when you look at how poor Tottenham have been over the last few months of the season. But like you say, I always think form goes out the window in a derby. I think if Tottenham fans can make it like a cauldron, how it was last season, I think anything is possible. My only concern with Tottenham is really just kind of the defensive aspect and concentration, because we know how good Arsenal can be. They're going to come out the blocks flying. Spurs typically don't start games strong. They grow into games. I think if you concede 2 goals against Arsenal, it's kind of unlikely you're going to get two back. How Tottenham have kind of played. And again, for me, it's also about team selection, because we've had no Richarlison, no Kulusevski, no Bentancur.
Who's back? Are any of them back?
I think Kulusevski's back. I don't know about Bentancur.
Can't be playing Gil.
Hopeful. No, I actually quite like.
He's done all right, but
there's a golfing difference. With playing Kulusevski, and I think that's why Tottenham was so fruitful at the back end of last season, because you had a very balanced front three with Kulusevski up there. And obviously Son hasn't really been doing the business this season. I know he got a goal against Palace. But again, I'm looking at this and I'm saying on paper this should be an Arsenal win, but Arsenal do have a terrible record at Tottenham.
That's the thing. I was going to ask you that, because as a Tottenham fan, it looks like whoever plays at home in this fixture
usually
gets
wins.
the W.
Yeah.
And it's been like that for quite a while, you know. Arsenal not winning their, I think, is this 2013?
Yeah, it's been, I think it's 2014 Rosicky, but I don't even remember them having, I think it was like one chance. I don't remember it being like they should have won that.
Right,
I think
so that shows how scarce it is.
Yeah.
And even with Arsenal being, in the ascendancy, let's to say in the last 18 months, again, they didn't win their last season.
No, they didn't. And that was kind of the obviously the back end of the season.
When it really mattered,
And then obviously they went on to lose to Newcastle as well. So that kind of, stumped them from getting top four.
Crazy. But they are a different team now.
100%.
Yeah,
their mentality is completely different. And I think that if you, looking at this from an Arsenal perspective, if you really are set on this, a title challenge and, you're committed to that cause, you've got to show the resilience and the mentality.
Is there more pressure on them to win than you?
I think so. Yeah, I do think so. I think that for the position that Arsenal are in, especially with City, 5 points behind, if they beat you, it could be, 2 points or 3 points if they get a draw or something like that.
If City do beat us, then Arsenal know that, it's starting to change. You've got to go to Spurs and get a result.
And it's being able to withstand that pressure at the top of the table. They haven't been in a title race for a very long time. They also haven't had City chasing them down. City are usually in this position where they're chasing someone down. The last few seasons, City have been not so great the first half of the season, and then kicked on.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think the pressure is more on Arsenal than it is on Tottenham, but it is equally on Tottenham because the way that they've been performing has been so up and down. I'd say it's actually potentially more on Conte.
Well, what happens if what's the feeling like? Because I know it is kind of split. It seems kind of split. People's opinions, Spurs fans' opinion on Conte, the way you're playing, etc., etc. I've seen some Spurs fans saying, "Just stop all this, get rid, let's move on, let's do that."
I was one of those, yeah.
There you go.
And that's not about Antonio Conte. I genuinely,
this project
don't get it
at.
twisted. I think Antonio Conte is a brilliant manager.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's a great fit for Tottenham. I think that we were actually debating this on AFTV last night when the footage is going to come out soon, so I won't ruin it. But there was a conversation about Conte and Arteta and the type of managers they are. And I think one is better suited than the other to a club like Tottenham. And that's not to say I don't rate Antonio Conte. I do. I just think that it's not the right club. And I think the same with Jose Mourinho as well. And also, we're in a transfer window, and I'm definitely not a big fan of Daniel Levy and Enoch. Everybody knows that. I'm very vocal about it. But I do stand with him at this point because Antonio Conte has 6 months left on the contract. He hasn't signed a new deal. If I'm Daniel Levy, I'm saying, why am I going to back you in this window if you haven't signed a contract for me to go and get a new manager in the summer with new players I need to invest in?
Yeah, that's true. And Conte-type players as well are very specific.
They're very, very specific. Yeah. And, the next manager, whoever that be, again, it's just stacking up more problems for Tottenham long term to sell and shift out.
So if you lose badly, right? That's what I was going to ask.
I don't think it will be badly.
Yeah,
I don't.
But if it was, what could that, be really toxic and just
and I think with Conte, there's always the possibility that things can turn toxic very, very quickly.
Especially what he will say after the game once he loses.
Look, I would never say that all the blame is on Conte. And Robbie has called me out and said I'm not blaming Conte enough, but I'm able to see that the picture is not just Conte. It is a cycle of things. It comes from the top. It's Daniel Levy, it's Enoch, it's the whole cycle, and it's been the same cycle for the last 22 years. But I do think there will be some pressure if we lose to Arsenal. I mean, some fans will say, yeah, but Arsenal are top of the league, but you're still at home. It's a derby. But I don't want to say we'll lose. I don't think we will lose, but I predicted this to be a draw anyway. I'll
get a couple of not super chats, just comments out, and then obviously you can carry on. Just get your predictions in. Make sure you vote. Oh, I need to vote so I can see what's happening.
I went for a draw.
Draw.
Okay.
It's 25% for a Spurs win, 66% for an Arsenal win, 10% draw. Some Arsenal fans in here, and also DNYG says, no pressure on Arsenal. Arsenal will win, says Martinelli, the GOAT. We didn't have Partey in that game either, with 10 men too after Holding got sent off, says Cassie. And it will be, I'll be all right with a draw, Arsenal fan. Jacobs, any Spurs fans here?
No,
can't really find any. Come on, you Gunners. Oh, there you go, Arsenal. Come on, you Spurs, divas. Actually, they're usually on my channel. I think they're Man United fan, but I just want Spurs to win.
Thank you.
And what a finish says draw written all over it.
I think this is a draw. I mean, I went for a 2-2 draw in yesterday's prediction because, like always, Tottenham have to be 2-0 down before they start playing.
Harry Kane, is he one goal off getting it, or is he one goal off equaling?
He's one goal off equaling Jimmy Greaves' record.
Two goals against Arsenal.
He loves a goal against Arsenal.
Little 2-1 win.
He's got the most goals in North London derbies, better than Henry and everyone. I think he's on 14 or 15 goals. So it could be written, but again, my worry is how Tottenham set up for this game and how quickly they start the game.
All right, prediction?
2-2 for me.
2-2. I went draw in that just to quickly see what it was. Do I think it's going to be a draw?
I like to fence it on Derby Day.
Yeah, I'm with you. I did the same thing. I got a feeling Arsenal are going to show some minerals, man. I think they're going to. Yeah, I got a feeling. I don't want them to. A draw's perfect for me. You guys drop some points. Arsenal drop some points. But I feel like Arsenal are going to...
Okay, well, we'll see on Monday morning, won't we? We shall see. Let's have a look at tonight's game, which is Chelsea-Fulham. Fulham are, by the way, playing tonight and again on Sunday. Rescheduled fixtures. Very, very tough task. Fulham and Chelsea. Fulham are currently, I think it's 7th in the table.
Flying.
They are absolutely flying at the moment. Just look at that. They're the best team in West London. Like Fulham, Brentford in 9th, Chelsea in 10th. This is a very big derby.
So funny that with the London thing, when you start breaking it down, it's like, well, this area,
West London.
It's not just who's the best in London. It's like you've got West, you've got South, you've got whatever.
Yeah. I mean, look, Fulham have been flying. I think everyone kind of wrote them off maybe a little bit at the beginning of the season. Thought they might go down. Struggle, I did too. Chelsea, though. What is going on at Chelsea?
How long you got? Obviously, they've got João Felix in now, who will help them. I really like João Felix. Under different circumstances, I would have loved to have him at Man United, but I understand why we couldn't. It was the right reason not to get him now. But for Chelsea, with Todd Bowley just throwing money at anything and being able to do anything, it makes sense for them to go for him. They need a spark from somewhere with so many injuries as well, and bad performances, and no goal scorers. They've got a whole host of problems. It's not just... I think that's the thing. You've just listed so many problems without even mentioning Graham Potter. Exactly. I think that you have to look at the Chelsea squad. Yes, there's a lot of money being spent in that and good players on paper, but in principle, this is not a team. No. And this is not a Graham Potter team, and I don't think you can blame Graham Potter for what he's inherited at Chelsea. No, you can't... There's good players there, a lot of money spent, so you can argue that, well, you've got to find a way. Thomas Tuchel lost his job because he couldn't find a way with, 250 million spent the window before, whatever it was. I get that, but I do agree, like, Graham Potter plays a specific style with a specific profile of player. And it takes a long time. And the players project was 3.5 years at Brighton. Exactly. And the players that they are buying actually do fit that mould in the long term. Some of them aren't here yet. Some of them are just arriving. Some of them are injured. You look at people like Fofana. You look at Badia Shields, you look at Nkunku. These are players that I look at, they can work under Graham Potter, It's about time. And Chelsea, it's something that you wouldn't associate with Chelsea. 100%. So Chelsea need to, for them to, I think, be better in the long term, they've got to do something that they don't do in the short term, which is stick by someone. Yeah. I get it. If you are just... This is where Graham Potter's got to show a bit, because you don't get a free pass in the Premier League. It doesn't matter what constraints you've got. It doesn't matter how bad the injuries are. You've got to find a way to even just give enough. Just give enough for people to buy in. You can't be losing 8 in a row or 5 in a row. It's like Nathan Jones at Southampton. Right. You show some minerals somewhere else, and then you kind of get buy a bit of time. Yeah, you get a bit of time. But I don't believe that Todd Bowley is going to sack him anytime soon. I really don't. I think it'd be stupid to. I know they might have to write off this season. I know some Chelsea fans might not want to hear that. Some might agree with that. They have done that in the past. This is not the first time Chelsea have been mid-table. This does happen in their cycles. It happens every few seasons. They go off the ball, they get a new manager, they then win the league, and then they kind of do back and forth with it. Yeah. I just want to talk about Fulham. No Mitrovic. Mitrovic for Fulham. Yes, that's a big one. It's a big miss, but they have been really, really good, and I think we need to give them their flowers a little bit. Yes, I think that they play a nice brand of football. I'm really worried about them coming up. Because obviously they spent an awful lot of money, over 100 million last time. They were up and went straight back down, and it just didn't work out for them. But you're in a game against Fulham, home or away. They put in a shift. I mean, what was it, City? When they went away to City, they lost by a last-minute penalty. Yeah. They gave them a really good game. They've beaten Liverpool at home. What happened at Fulham? Have they played Chelsea already? I can't remember. I can't remember. But they, we had to beat Fulham in the last minute. We won 2-1, and they got back into the game at 1-1, so it was a really tough game. It doesn't matter who they play. they're on it, and they've got some big results. They've scored a lot of.
What's your prediction for this one?
João Felix being there might get a little bit of a lift, bit of a buzz. 2-1 Chelsea.
Okay, I'm gonna go for a Fulham win.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go for a Fulham win.
Hopefully.
All right, yeah. Let's actually, hopefully not, because we want them to stick with this project for a while.
Oh, yeah, true.
I did.
Yeah.
All right, let's run through the rest of the fixtures. Tomorrow, Aston Villa take on Leeds.
High octane game that is.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
entertaining. Is that on Sky? Yeah,
that is on Sky. 8 o'clock. I mean, Villa are very odd, aren't they? You know, they beat Tottenham the week before, and then they go and lose to Stevenage.
Yeah.
What's your prediction?
I think they beat Leeds at home 2-1.
2-1. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna go for a draw.
Okay.
A draw on that one. Right, on to Saturday, Brighton-Liverpool. This is a tasty game.
I like that game. Is that on TV as well?
That is 6th versus 8th. Actually, Brighton with a win can go above Liverpool. Liverpool have not been firing that well. Nope. They've looked pretty poor defensively.
Really tough game.
Brighton have looked good all season. You know, the likes of Casado, Trossard, Gross, Mitoma.
Trossard scored a hat-trick against them last time, 3-3 at Anfield.
Yeah, so good Brighton. And, you know, since De Zerbi's come in, they haven't actually missed Potter at all.
No.
Prediction on this one?
I'm going to go with a Brighton win. I'm going to go Brighton 2. Liverpool 1 again.
I'm going to do the same as you and match that. Yeah. Everton, Southampton, massive game.
Mate.
Relegation battle.
Everton weren't bad against Man United in the FA Cup. I really feared for them after we scored after like 2 minutes.
Connor Cody just assisting.
I know, both sides. You just do not know what you're going to get with these though, do you? Everton, draw.
Draw,
1-1.
Okay. I'm going to go with I don't know, Southampton off the back of those 2 cup wins. I'm going to go Southampton. Forest, Leicester.
Leicester, you never know what you're going to get. Forest are good at home.
Forest again off the back of a cup win, you know,
Forest
confidence-wise.
1-0.
Okay, I'm going to go 2-1 Leicester. 2-1 Leicester.
Okay.
Yeah. Wolves, West Ham.
Oof. West Ham. Wolves.
Tight.
1-0.
I'm going to match that 1-0. Yeah. Brentford, Bournemouth. Brentford flying.
Brentford 2, Bournemouth 0.
Okay, Brentford 2, Bournemouth 0. Newcastle, Fulham. That is the second fixture of Fulham.
Again. Yeah. Oh, they got to go Chelsea. Then they got to go to
Newcastle. Tough few games. Big test for them.
Massive test. I think they lose both games. Yeah, Newcastle. You do not want to go there. They got the flags out. They got they're starting to look. It's kind of scary. It's like they're starting to cook. Yeah, they're building. Newcastle. It's hard because if Fulham go and beat Chelsea, I might change my tune.
Yeah.
It's hard. I don't know. 2-0 Newcastle.
I'm going to go 2-0 Newcastle as well. Okay, so that is everything for this week's Premier League Game Day preview. We'll see what's happening in those derbies next week. Will Flex be crying? Will I be crying?
Oh, man, please. Big week, Man United.
Who knows? Big week for Tottenham too, hopefully. Super chats before we leave?
Yes, there is one, but this person was on my channel earlier on today, and I didn't understand what they meant. I don't know if it was cryptic. Defamation, quantization of poison manifolds. I don't know what it meant. I took it in our show that it means that they like Wout Weghorst and they're happy he signed. I don't know. Maybe the DR Sports community can crack what it is. Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows?
But big up Asido. Yeah. Twice now.
Anyway, it's nice to have you back.
Yes, good to be back.
Next week as well?
Back next, I think so.
Okay, I hope so. If we can work around his very busy schedule. Yes. But thank you for watching, guys. Have a good weekend and good luck to all your teams.